Okay, let's go. Good afternoon once more. My name is Augustine Oje, and I'm the founder of Cosine. The objective of this conversation today, this webinar today, is to help Cosine partners get a better grasp of what the partners program is about, and most importantly, what their role is in the whole grand scheme of things. Today's meeting is going to be pretty quick. We have 40 minutes and we have a lot to cover. So I'm going to brush through some concepts um, relatively quickly. So it would be very helpful if you pay close attention, and I promise not to waste your time. At the end of this conversation, we are going to have a 10 to 15 minutes window where you can ask your questions, and I will try as much as I can to give you as comprehensive an answer as possible. After the session, we will still leave open rooms for questions. You can ask them in the WhatsApp channel that we all share, and I would also try to provide answers to you. This meeting is recorded, as you are well aware of. We will be uploading the recorded video to the Cosine Partners Enablement Kit. I'm sure every partner has a link to the enablement kit, and you can access it there after the call. That said, we will be covering 6 key concepts throughout this conversation. The first of them being what cosine is. The second is why we are building cosine. And we will dive into the Cosine Partners program right after that, what the program is all about and why we created the program. Also, we'll talk about what is in it for you as a partners. Right after that, we will quickly brush through what the partner's responsibilities are. And then we will talk about how partners can use the app, because we've been getting a lot of questions about what you need to do with the app and how to use it. And the most important part, especially for you guys partners, is how you get paid. We will talk about that right after we talk about using the application. Thereafter, I will open the floor for questions. And like I said, I will try as much as I can to give you as comprehensive an answer as possible. And I need you to know that I do not know it all. I'm learning just as you all are learning. Okay. The first thing is what is cosine really about? We all live in this continent, this country especially, and we can tell that things are not quite right. And there is a lot of problems, a lot of challenges that we are experiencing as a people. We at Cosine have decided to focus our energy on what we really understand, what we really know. So basically, we are not just regular software developers building an application for schools or for the education system. We are educators ourselves, and we are concerned about the state of education in the continent. We all know it is not as good as we want it to be. And we are particularly doing something about it, starting with how schools operate internally. If you have a teacher as a relative, or you are a teacher yourself, you would be able to tell from a glance that they spend a lot of time working, sometimes 10 hours, 11 hours. Some of them leave home as early as 6 a.m. and they don't get back home as late as 5 p.m. That's an 11-hour day. And it would shock you to realize that out of that 11 hours they spend every day in school, only barely 4 hours is spent teaching, actual teaching. And that is what they are paid for, to teach. So if they spend only 4 hours teaching, what do they do with the rest of the time? Mostly admin work. compiling, computing, recording, etc. And most of those admin works are repetitive and can be automated. That is what we are building Cosine for. Basically, we want to use Cosine to automate most of those tasks that are repetitive, most of those tasks that are keeping educators in school longer than they ought to. This will free up a lot of time for them to actually teach, to actually pay attention to the kids in their classrooms. And this doesn't just apply to teachers alone, it applies to every aspect of the education system, every aspect of the value chain, from teachers to parents to administrators within schools. Cosine allows them to handle everything, leaving the teaching itself to the humans. I know a lot of people are worried about how technology is taking jobs, but we are doing the exact opposite. We are complementing human efforts with technology. Now, there is this question that pops up all the time. Why are we doing it? Why are we doing Cosine? Is it because it's cool or because we're just passionate about the education sector? The truth is, it's a mixture of both and a few more recipes. There is alarming statistics that we as a continent are the fastest growing continent. And why that is a good thing, it is also concerning because in a few years from now, approximately 25 years from now, 33% of the world population will be Africans. So if you just take a random walk on Park Earth and meet 3 people, 1 in every 3 persons you meet will be from Africa somehow. There are 7 continents, to put that in context, and only 1 continent is contributing 1/3 of the population. That's a lot of numbers. And if 1/3 of the world's population, this particular 1/3 of the world's population, are not making significant impact in human capital, there is a huge problem. It means the smarter minority gets to control the less smart majority. And that is not a very appealing future for us as a continent. So the reason why we are building Cosine is to help Africa position itself as a leader in human capital. We've got to be able to contribute to the world's development somehow, intellectually, physically, humanly. And for countries, every country in the world, the most important place, the most important aspect of human capital development is early school. Kindergarten, primary, secondary school, because that is where people learn how to be humans. That is where people learn how to contribute to society, to global, national economies. And if we can solve the problems that we're experiencing in this area of our system, we believe that the quality of human capital that comes out of Africa will be significantly better than it currently is. And it is our goal, our vision, to make human capital out of Africa the best in the world. We've got to be the best humans, not just the most populated people, the most populated continent in the world. We also need to account for the best humans in the world, physically and intellectually. That is why we are building Cosine. Now, we're down to the Partners Program. Why did we create the Partners Program exactly? I mean, there is a lot of reasons why you should care about African education system getting better, obviously. But why do we have to make you a partner? The truth is, the world is moving fast, like so fast that it is raising concerns internally. Deep down in your heart, you're wondering what's coming next week and what's coming the week after. You can't even predict what the future looks like. If we are going to improve the education system one school at a time, we would be too slow to catch up with real world speed, with the pace at which the world is going right now. We need to move at exactly the same pace. So we can't afford to do it one school at a time. We have to do it multiple schools at a time. And that is the reason why we created the Partners Program, to allow individuals like you and me from every part of the country, every part of the continent, to walk down to schools that are close to them, the schools that are down your street, the schools that are in your locality, and talk to them and make them understand the impact that technology would have in their school operations. As a partner, you have access to the application. You can show them in real time how the application works, how the application makes life considerably better for them. And as a reward for this effort, partners get to earn some extra side income here, because why these schools and the school owners may see the impact of technology in their school system, in their operations, they may have a little bit of a discomfort setting up applications themselves. Your job as a partner primarily is to help these school owners and the educators generally in the school system set up the application and learn to use it. In return for this job that you do, in return for this assistance that you give to these schools, they get to pay you a fee. Now, how much do you get to earn? That is entirely up to you. Depending on your locality, you know how much is fair. You know how much is overpriced. And you wouldn't want to overprice certain services, because it becomes a lose-lose situation for both you, the school, and us as an organization. We don't tell you how much to price, and we don't take any fraction of the payment. The payment does not come through us, it goes straight to you. So you're in complete control of how you earn, what you earn, and how quickly you earn those money. And this approach to the Partners Program, the earning approach to the Partners Program, is at this current time quite helpful to the majority of the country's population, considering that there is high inflation and low employment rates. So an additional stream of income would be really helpful in providing some financial buffers to you and me, obviously. Now, what would your responsibilities be as a partner? We've gotten that question a couple of times in the community, and the responsibilities are clear-cut, very straightforward. Your job as a co-sign partner is to find schools that are near you. You don't have to go very far. You're very familiar with your local environment. You know how many schools are there. You can speak their language if you need to communicate in their language. You can interact with them, liaise with them, talk about local politics. And I believe you would have a much better appreciation for the nuances of your environment, the nuances of the cultural nuances in that environment, because you're one of them. So your job is to find those schools that are near you, interact with them, engage them, show them how the cosign application can help their school operations. If you've taken some time to interact with the application, you can tell for a fact that it is particularly helpful to schools, not just schools, but parents as well, and the entire value chain in the education system. After showing them that cosign can really help their school operations, it is also your responsibility to convince them to try the application out. Like we've made abundantly clear, cosign is a free to use application. The schools do not have to pay to use cosign at any point, but they get to pay you for your services, helping them set it up. So the fact that cosign is free to use makes it considerably easier for you to convince them to try it out, as long as you're not overpricing your services, of course. And you are also responsible for helping them set up the application, because, of course, that's what you get paid for. Okay? Some schools may see the need to train their staffs on how to use the application. And if they see the need to train their staffs on how to use the application, you can teach them how to use the application. If you've interacted with the application, which I expect you to, we expect you to, you would be very familiar with the functionalities and the interface of the application. And that would make it considerably easier for you to show teachers, school owners, administrators how to find what and what to do with what. So we get asked a lot of times, what do I do with the app? Oh, now I have installed the app as partners, yeah? What next? What do I do? Now, the application that you have installed, to which we have given you an admin permission to a demo school, a school that we created internally. The application is meant for you to familiarize yourself with the layouts or the features and the functions that the application provides. Your ability to familiarize yourself with the layout will be very helpful when you get the chance to demo the application to schools, because you don't want to be presenting the application to schools and you're trying to figure out, how certain things work. So now that you have access to the application, what you would do is ask yourself a simple question. What would a regular teacher want to do? Okay? Say a teacher wants to assign homeworks to the students in their classroom. Yeah? You just go to the app and you find your way around. See if you can assign homework to a classroom that you're responsible for. Say a teacher wants to mark the attendance of students in their classroom. Oh, this person is present or absent, which we are all familiar with because we went to school ourselves. You can just find your way around the application and do it. You can enroll students, new students, assign them to classrooms, add new staff, etc. So play around, get familiar with it, and you will find that familiarity to be very helpful when you start interacting with schools. That is the purpose of the application in a partner's hand. In a school's hand, it runs the entire operation. In a partner's hand, you don't have a school, so it is a little bit unrealistic for you to want to run a school operation. So just use it for demonstration purposes. Now, how do you get paid? Like I mentioned before, you get paid by the schools you onboard, and they don't pay you for their access to the application. They pay you for helping them set up the application. I'm sure that has been made abundantly clear in many materials that we've shared. Cosign is free. Education is an important part of our being as a people. So we are not asking schools to pay for the cosign application. Again, cosign is free. I apologize if I'm hinting this a little too much, but it's an important factor to keep in mind. Now that all has been said, I think we can open up the floor for your questions.
All right, so all understood. So I would like to ask, since the product is free and we only get pay from the how we help these guys or schools set up and yeah, train their staffs. So how do Cosign make their money?
That's a good question. Yeah, we have a business model that keeps the application free to a decent point without putting a lot of financial burdens on schools and parents. We are still polishing up the business model internally. Uh, Everything looks good. It looks really good, if I'm being very honest. And I am currently not at liberty to share the details with you, but we do make some money, a decent amount of money, not a ridiculous amount, a decent amount.
Okay, that's fair. So I would also want to know now when we are pitching this, like, is it possible to you mentioned as how it could help the school, also how it could help parents. So is it possible to pitch one side of this idea while leaving the other side? Like, okay, I see a parent that might that's when I go through because I'm yet to go through features and function of the app. So I see a parent and I want to pitch this idea to them. Is it possible to pitch a parent? I don't know if you get a parent side of this idea or how this the whole cosine partner program can help the parents and just leave the school side aside. I don't know. Or I want to know if this both idea that's for the school and the parents are mutually exclusive.
Um, the experience, parents and school are not mutually exclusive. They are packed. The idea is parents have to engage in their children's education on the go. Yeah. But that engagement cannot happen if the schools do not give them access to engage in their operations. So the schools are the people we have to talk to at the end of the day, because the decision whether to use cosign or not is entirely theirs. And often, when schools adopt a solution, student parents usually just go with the flow. However, you can pitch this the product to parents, obviously, but the objective of that pitch would be to maybe score an introduction to their children's school. Then you can have the opportunity to actually pitch the school itself. But if you pitch it, when you pitch it to parents, often they think it's a great idea. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of parents personally, and they think it's a great idea, and they think it is important for them to be a part of their child's education. Even if some of them believe they're a part of their child's education, they also want to be a little more involved in their child's education, especially when your child is getting closer to the teenage years, where they can tell you they're in school, but they're not. I think you know what I'm talking about. So yes, you can pitch it to parents, but the objective of that pitch would not be to onboard them on the application, because they cannot get on board the application all on their own. They need to be added to a school by a school administrator.
All right, well noted, sir. Thank you.
You're very much welcome.
Yeah, my question is now after onboarding the school and then they said okay fine how they are going to be we need to let the school know how they are going to be using to sign up. So I believe you're going to show them a video, if I'm correct, a demo video. So the question that what about the demo video? Even me as a person, yes, fine. I don't know how to operate the what's the thing? Okay, I don't know what to because let's assume I'm able to get a screen and then talk to them. They say I should come, okay, to come and show them how to use it to sign up. So what are the things I'm going to get? um against what's against the meeting and then the video and the like. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Thank
I get you. If you go through the